Om Namo Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining today. We'd like to seek the blessings of Radha Shyamsundar, Radha Damodar, Radha Madhav, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Ponitai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees, so that we can remember some of the pastimes of Radhakund today. And I think tomorrow as well is perhaps the appearance day of Radhakund. So we probably spend a couple of days on this because it's such a wonderful pastime and such an important place to visit. So we can actually visit there today and tomorrow. So this is one of the reasons why it's so important. It's given by Rupa Goswami in his Upadeshamrit, Nectar of Instruction. And text 9 gives a clue as to the importance of Radhakund.
Vaikunta Janito Varamadu Puri Tatrapi Rashotswat Vindaranya Udara Pani Ramana Tatrapi Govardhanaha Radhakunda Mihapi Gokula Pate Preman Amrita Plavanat Kuryalashya Virajato Giritate Seva Vivekinakaha. Translation: the holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathurapur is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan, because of Krishna's Raslila pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, which was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna for the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radhakund stands supreme, but is overlooked, so overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prem of the Lord of Gokul, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radhakund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill?
So, fascinating verse by Rupa Goswami. And if we just have a look at this model of the spiritual material worlds. So, planet Earth, above planet Earth is, of course, Vaikuntha. I mean, the universe is Shivlok, Brahmajyoti, and then we have Vaikuntha Dham, Haridham. Higher than Haridham is said to be Mathura, and Mathura is one of these layers here. And higher than Mathura is Vrindavan, because of Krishna's Raslila pastimes. But higher than Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, because Krishna raised it for 7 days, 7 nights with his hand. And higher than that, even higher than Govardhan, is Radhakund, which stands at the foot of Govardhan, because it is filled, overflooded by the ambrosial nectarian love of Shri Krishna, Radha and Krishna. So fascinating. The position of Radhakund is so high. And here, if we look, Mathura is there. And within, this is Golok Vrindavan. This is in the spiritual world. And this is right in the center of that is Radha and Krishna, surrounded by the Gopal mantra. And around Radha and Krishna, the lotus petals are the gopis, and around the gopis are the manjaris. The manjaris are so close to the divine couple because they serve them in ways even which the gopis cannot serve. So really privileged. And the person who's written that verse is Rupa Goswami. And the other person who wrote the bhajan that we sang, Radhakund Astakam, is Rati Manjari. His name is Raghunath Das Goswami. So these are two are so close to Radha and Krishna. So we're in good hands, following in their footsteps. So this pastime of Radhakund, how did it happen? One day, a demon named Aritsasura entered the village, Vrindavan, like a great bull with a gigantic body and horns, digging up the earth with his hoofs. When the demon entered Vrindavan, it appeared that the whole land trembled, as if there were an earthquake. He roared fiercely, and after digging up the earth on the riverside, he entered the village proper. Its body was so big, stout, and strong that a cloud hovered over its body, just as clouds hover over mountains. So this is this painting sort of underestimates the presence of Aritasura. He was absolutely humongous, terrifying. Aritasura entered Vrindavan with such a fearful appearance that just on seeing this great demon, all the women and men were afflicted with great fear, and the cows and other animals fled the village. The situation became very terrible, and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan began to cry, "Krishna, Krishna, please save us." Krishna also saw that the cows were running away, and he immediately replied, "Don't be afraid, don't be afraid." He then appeared before Aritasura, and he said, "Why are you frightening the inhabitants of Gokul?" Krishna challenged the demon, and the demon became very angry, began to proceed towards Krishna in anger. Krishna caught his horns and tossed him away. Again, he charged Krishna with great force and anger. While rushing towards Krishna, he breathed very heavily. Krishna again caught his horns and immediately threw him on the ground, breaking his horns. Krishna then began to kick his body, just as one squeezes a wet cloth on the ground. Being thus kicked by Krishna, Aritasura passed to the kingdom of death. Then the gopis, they teased Krishna to go to the holy places to rid himself of the sin of killing a bull. This is the pastime of Shyamkund and Radhakund. So, very interesting how the teasing between Krishna and the gopis takes them, their ecstasy, to be with each other to different levels. So here, the gopis, they said to Krishna, "You have to now go to bathe in the holy places because you have committed a sin, killing Aritasura, a bull. A bull is like the father. Cow is like the mother. Bull is like the father. So you've committed a sin. So we can't associate with you until you have purified yourself. So go and do it." And Krishna, of course, didn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't like to leave Vrindavan, as we know. So he simply kicked his foot on the ground and called for all of the holy rivers to appear there and then. And they did. One by one, they all appeared in front of Krishna and entered the kund that he made with his foot. And then Krishna bathed in that kund. And then he teased the gopis that you have taken the side of a demon. By aligning yourself with Aritasura, you've taken the side. So you are now sinful. But I'm happy for you to take a bath in my kund and purify yourselves. And the gopis, they would respond that, well, now that you've bathed in your kund, you've really contaminated it with your sins. So we can't take a bath in there. No, we'll make our own kund. So Radharani was very adamant that now we can make our own. They took their bangles and they started digging the ground around where they were. And then they started to fill the kund with pots of water coming all the way from Manasiganga. So actually, this is the scene, which is, let me see if I can show you. Now, let's see if I can. Okay. This is a scene that's been created by Jayanti here, which is quite amazing actually.
Go down the
Yeah, bit more. Bit more.
and over to the side, the other side. Start on
Yeah. So this is Mansi Ganga is there, that red, the green, the brown pot, and the gopis are lining up all the way to Radhakund, and they're passing pots of water to fill Radharani's kund. And there you go. This is Radhakund and Shyam Kund. So they're filling up the pots, which is really quite a nice. Krishna's watching them. And also the holy waters, which were already in Radhakund, were praying to Krishna. Can we? Oh yeah, in Shyamkund, yes. They were praying to Krishna. Can we also enter into Radhakund? And Krishna said, well, I have no jurisdiction there, but why not ask Radharani? Because Radharani is in charge. So if she gives you permission, then yes, why not? You can enter Radhakund. Let me just 1 second. So they approached Radhakund in all humility and they begged her, can we please? Oh, they approached Radharani and they begged her, please, can we enter your kund? And Radharani, being very kind and merciful, said, yes, you can. So they entered Radhakund. And then both Radharani and Krishna, they also, and the gopis bathed in Radhakund, and they had fantastic pastimes there. And those pastimes would take place almost on a daily basis. And this is why Radhakund is regarded such a highly elevated place to reside. So then Rupa Goswami speaks further of this relationship between Radha and Krishna and Radhakund specifically in text 10 of Nectar of Instructions.
Translation. In the Shastra, it is said that of all types of fruity workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. After many such people who are advanced in knowledge, Gyanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prem, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. A kund, or lake, is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radhakund and a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakata bhav, rendered loving service to the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform the Asta Kalya Leela, the eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radhakund are the most fortunate people in the universe.
So this is showing the profound position of Radhakund, especially those lucky personalities who are able to reside on the banks of the Radhakund. The acharyas actually do not necessarily recommend to go artificially to go to Radhakund and reside there. They suggest that actually one purifies one's existence and by chanting the holy names and serving the Lord. And in due course of time, as the purification takes place, one can naturally live in Radhakund, even whilst one is wherever one is in their situation. But it's the mood of Radhakund which is so important. That mood is of just being engrossed in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Very, very important. And then text 11 carries on.
Of the many objects of favorite delight and of all the lovable damsels of Brajbhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every respect, her divine Kund is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radhakund is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
Radhakund ki jai. So just maybe once is enough.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Bring about
What does this
yes.
mean?
Yes,
What does this sentence mean that Radhakund is very rarely attained even by the great devotees?
That's why I was saying that, the acharyas don't recommend to go to reside in Radhakund. Instead, one can purify one's existence where one is. Because even one goes to Radhakund, even those who are, pure, great devotees, they still may misunderstand or still may not appreciate the greatness of Radhakund. It's very, very rarely attained, even by great devotees. It's just so hard because Radhakund is the topmost place where, there's nothing higher in this world. There's nothing higher even in the spiritual world. So not so easy to attain Radha and Krishna. Even, the munis, they travel at the speed of mind towards Sri Krishna, but they still can't reach him. So let alone speak about Radha and Krishna and Radhakund. Very hard to attain. Radha Krishna are very difficult to attain. We're very fortunate that we have to thank Srila Prabhupada for giving us this access to the divine couple, but it is actually very, very rare. Previously, before the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or before the time of Madhavendra Puri, Radharani would never be in the picture. It was only Krishna that was worshipped. Only Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Sitaram.
Yeah, I have read somewhere, or somebody when I went to Vrindavan, I met somebody. He was a Brajvasi. So he told me, somebody had come here and he was so eager to see Krishna and Radha having their pastime before us. But on the second day, that person became mad.
Mm-hmm.
He became mad and cannot do. And after some little time, that is 1 week or 2 weeks, he left his body.
Right.
Somebody told me when I myself and my other devotees, in Mauritian devotees, we were there. And I told. Okay, Haribol.
Thank you. Yeah. I think that's right. When we prematurely we think we're at that level that we can, attain Radha Krishna, but actually we are pretty neophyte. We are ordinary. So our by following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, following in the footsteps of Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj was very clear. He would, on the appearance on Radhastami, the appearance of Radharani, one time he was giving a lecture. He didn't even mention Radharani. He didn't even mention the name of Radharani. Because he knew that we're not on the level that we can comprehend or grasp the divine couple's relationship. So Radha Krishna is extreme. We're very, very fortunate. We've got this access. But as I was saying before, before Madhavendra Puri, Radharani was hardly mentioned, never mentioned. And then after Madhavendra Puri, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after the 6 Goswamis, And especially after Srila Prabhupada, he spread this holy name throughout the world, together with the temples, together with the murtis, deities of Radha Krishna. So now suddenly we're so fortunate that we've got this access. But even then we have to be very careful, because prematurely thinking that we're at a level where we're not is dangerous. Because spiritual path is double-edged sword. So slow and steady, and understanding the Goswamis, and with great respect, trying to get closer to our spiritual identities. It's the best way to go forward. Does that make sense, Nandibet?
Yes, Prabhuji, yeah. Yeah. So when they say Radhakunda, we mean Krishna and Radha both, isn't it? Not just a kunda.
Yeah, because Radhakund means Radha Krishna. Because
Radha.
that's where they did the most intimate pastimes, they would engrossed in their loving mood towards each other. And so Radhakund means, definitely wherever you talk is very dear to Krishna, Radhakund. So
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it was nice to be there with you this time again.
Yeah.
But,
We've been twice, yes.
Yeah.
I remember it most. That and the Govardhan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Jayanti decided to stay in Govardhan. That was a good move. Have that extra few hours in Govardhan. That was nice.
Yes.
That was good. Good move. So, and this is Radhakund, and this is Shyamkund. So we can bathe there. We can go into the middle of Radhakund and Shyamkund, which is here. What they call that area? It's a special Sangam, isn't it? Yes, that's right, Sangam, where they meet. So
temple there.
There's a little temple here, and that's right. Govardhan is there. You can pay your obeisances there, and then we come and pay obeisances to Radhakund and Shyamkund, and then we can actually enter into Radhakund and Shyamkund. Om pavitro pavitrava sarvastam topi vaya smaret pundarika samsabhyabhyantara suchi. And then we can bathe Radhakund, dip in, and we can think of our spiritual master. And thank you, Jayanti, just give me some Radhakund water. We actually got Radhakund water to sprinkle, and we can think of our spiritual master and thank him so much for allowing us this opportunity, for rare opportunity to be at this wonderfully spiritually charged place, transcendental place. And then we can go to Shyamkund, and same again. Om pavitro pavitrava sarvavastam topiva yasmare pandarikaksham sabhyabhyantara suchi Jal Vishnu. We can bathe in Shyamkund and thank spiritual master, thank all the devotees who helped us on our journey, and thank our parents, and think of other devotees that we would like to remember at this very wonderful place, and manage to bathe both places very nicely. So it was amazing, such an amazing place. So now I wanted to, this is the Parikrama.
She actually appears at midnight today.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of devotees actually go at midnight to bathe in there.
In fact, everything is jam-packed and closed. Only pilgrims on foot are allowed. It's sort of, they block the roads from a long distance. And if you're fortunate enough, you'll be able to make it to Radhakund and Shyamkund in the middle of the night.
And there's also some belief that I'm not sure if it's a vow or something, but a lot of devotees actually put melons in Radhakund. So after midnight, you will see Radhakund just covered in melons, and then there's a whole clearance done tomorrow morning or early morning to get all the melons out.
So this is the darshan at midnight of Radhakund. So what we could do, are we doing for time?
Tomorrow we need to Parikrama.
What's the time now? Quarter past. Okay. Well, maybe we'll start because it'll take a little time to do the Parikrama. Let's make a start and let's have a look at a slightly different presentation if possible. This is the, where are you?
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry?
Can we get a picture? Govardhan and the Radha?
Can we enter Radhakund?
No, have we got a picture or a photo of where the Radha?
Yeah, we're just going to bring that up.
Okay.
We'll bring that up to show you exactly where Radhakund and Shyamkund are in relation to
Govardhan.
Govardhan.
Okay,
Govardhan, yes.
very good, very good. Yes, 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 yes. So here we go.
It's number 1 and 2 at the top right.
Very good. Yes, there you go. There's Radhakund and Shyamkund. 1, 2, 3. Can you see?
Lalita
Yes.
Kund 3.
Yes, and Lalita Kund is 3, and then there's Gopi Kund. So many other kunds. So we sort of, where did we start? We started around here, didn't we?
Nankati number 26.
26. And...
Which is just about here. Yeah. 25.
Yeah. So we started the Parikrama roundabout here.
Yeah,
And,
26 is
yeah,
there.
26 is there. And then we walked around. And
So basically we did this Parikrama here. This.
So, yeah, go on.
Sorry, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, so we started here in the middle. We went all the way down and then we were up to Radhakund. That's where we stopped. So only this little bit was left.
Well, we did that anyway.
Yeah.
Later on in the evening.
So the whole party center is the Govardhan.
Here is actually, I think, the Govardhan village, isn't it?
Yes.
That's where we started. So we did the long part first, and then came back to the Govardhan village, and then
Up to Radhakund.
This is the long part, which is a tough one. So good. Oh, is that okay, Nanivan?
Yes. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Okay, so let's see if I can find. Radhakund. Okay. Right. Okay, so here we go. This is Govardhan, and now we've done Radhakund, Shyamkund. This is Lalita Kund. So when you do the Govardhan Parikrama, you automatically do. Oh, this goes around automatically, doesn't it? You automatically do Radhakund Parikrama, but you can also do a Parikrama just of Radhakund. So that's what we're going to do now, very quickly, at least as much as we can, and then tomorrow we can continue. So Lalita Kund is just here.
Number 3.
Number 3. Yeah, this is quite interesting verse from Padma Puran, Kartik Mahatmya.
Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Just as Srimati Radha is dear to the Supreme Lord Krishna Vishnu, So her bathing place, Radhakund, is equally dear to Krishna. Among all the gopis, she alone stands supreme as the Lord's most beloved. This is by Jiva Goswami in his Priti Sandarbha, Volume 1.
So this is very, very Krishna. The Goswamis clearly identify Radhakund is such an important place. Equally dear, as dear to Krishna, Radharani is dear, so is Radhakund is dear. So really amazing. So this is Radhakund, and we start with, this is the Radhakund, Shyamkund, and then Lalitakund is there. So this is Radhakund, little pilgrims bathe, middle of the night. And first item, Radhakund Krishna Puran Mandir, old temple, where Raghunath Das Goswami rediscovered the local Radhakrishna deities during the excavation of Radhakund. So these are the deities. We didn't get a chance this year to go, but we have once or twice gone and done these different temples around Radhakund, Shyamkund. So number 2, Julan Stali. This is Julan Stali. There's a stone structure near the bank, near the banyan, under the banyan tree, shaped like a upside down U mark, where Radhakrishna enjoyed the swing pastime, Julan. So that's why it's called the Julan Stali. Then we have the Gopal Manipur Mandir. This is actually donated to ISKCON, and the devotees of, okay, we got something here. Originally was being worshipped in the house of Brahman around 100 years ago. The king of Manipur had a dream in which the deity of Gopal appeared and ordered the king to build a temple for him at such a place that he could gaze at Radhakund, as well as give darshan to Surya, the sun god. The king built a nice temple for Lord Gopal, located at the exact spot where the first rays of rising sun appear at Radhakund. So now it's been given to the Hare Krishna movement, and the disciples of Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami look after this temple. Very, very nice, sweet temple. So that's here, number 3 and 4. And then number 4 is Radha Shyam Sundar Mandir. 5 is Radha Gopinath Mandir. So this is the deities in that mandir. Beautiful. 5, 6 is Janava Betakstan. So this is where Lord Nityananda's consort Janava Devi came, and she spent some time in Vrindavan around 1582, mainly to console the devotees like Raghunath Das Goswami, because Rupa Goswami and Sanatana, they all left and they were all sad. So Janava Devi came and gave these devotees great inspiration. They also felt separation from Radha and Krishna. So Janava Devi would sit here and gaze at Radhakund herself. That's number 6. This is another view of the same place.
They were renovating it this time, actually.
Oh, were they? Okay. So number 7 is in the center of Radhakund. So what is that? Ananga Manjari Kunj. So this is the very spot where Janava Mata sat, is a place where in Apakata Lila, a footbridge made of pure crystals extend out into the middle of Radhakund, where the Kunj grove of Ananga Manjari is situated. This Kunj appeared like a large lotus flower floating in the middle of Radhakund. Ma Janava is, of course, no other than Ananga Manjari, the younger sister of Shrimati Radharani. So Janava Devi is very, very elevated personality. Number 8, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami Samadhi. So this is, no, it's Raghunath Das Goswami Samadhi. That's slightly wrong. This is where they do 24-hour kirtan. This is situated on the bank of Radhakund itself. And every single day, non-stop, 24/7. These devotees are chanting. So this is here, based at Radhakund itself, on Radhakund bank. And then there's Govinda Ghat, Radha Raman Mandir, Radha Govind Mandir, and Jiva Mandir, the tongue of Govardhan. So this is the Jiva Mandir. Raghunath Das Goswami considered the water from Radhakund to be too sacred for his body use and wanted to have a well made. One of the workers stroked a stone which started to bleed. Raghunath Das Goswami immediately stopped him in the middle of in the night. Krishna appeared to him. He told him that the stone is the tongue of Govardhan hill. He wanted him to install and worship the sacred Shila in the temple. It is said that if one walks around this Govardhan Shila 10 times, he receives the same benefit as if he has circumambulated the whole Govardhan hill. So this is the place. This is the deity inside that little temple. And that was number 12. This is here, situated here. So there's a little bit of walking inside and going around, and really need somebody with you to identify all of the places. Then there's Gopal Bhatt Goswami's Bhajan Kutir, which is here. And it's a few, very close to the last place, this tongue of Govardhan. He established Radharaman temple in Vrindavan. He spent much of his time at Radhakund with Raghunath Das Goswami and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. The Bhajan Kutir is usually a small cottage or living place kutir, where sages and devotees used to live and perform their bhajan, worship by singing, meditating, reciting mantras, reading, writing, and performing ceremonies. So we can stop there and continue tomorrow. We can celebrate the appearance of Radhakund over 2 days, because I think in Mauritius it is tomorrow. So it's always nice to spend more and more time in this Radhakund consciousness so that we can try to become close to Krishna. Sometimes being there, one can be quite offensive if we're not careful. Even by mistake, we can do things which will really not please Radha and Krishna. So by doing it manasi, you can, by doing it through the mind, you avoid the offenses, but you get all the benefit. So manasi seva is very powerful, actually, done in the right mood. Any questions, any comments? Okay, let's stop there. Radhakund ki jai.